I'm just going to say I'm sorry that I was ever a part of it, near it.
In the verbiage, it didn't tell you how many videos, but I'll guarantee there's one there.
I would never have stood still and done nothing. I don't know that there's anyone in particular to blame except for Larry Nassar.
Last night, we introduced you to Amanda Jeter, a Cincinnati gymnast who is on Team USA and an Olympic hopeful. She also just came out telling the world she was sexually abused by the team doctor Larry Nassar. But who knew what? Were there any signs? Could any of this have been stopped before it happened again? We ask the questions, we get some answers. Here is more of Amanda's story.
Nobody knew. Not a teammate, not my parents, not my coach. No one knew.
I remember like it was yesterday. It's crazy. So we get out to the parking lot and I grab Amanda's face and I'm like, Amanda, did he touch you improperly?
And I said no.
But there was a sign. Amanda's mom and dad say there was a sign.
I saw what I saw.
Amanda's mom was also in the room, and she says she thought something wasn't right with the way Nassar was touching her daughter. 10 years ago, when Amanda was 13, she says Larry Nassar sexually assaulted her, and he used his cell phone to record the whole thing. Then Nassar went into the waiting room and asked mom and dad to come in, and for dad to record it.
I feel real uncomfortable.
Did it go through your mind? What's he doing? What's he doing?
Of course it did, and that's why I went to Mary Lee.
I know what type of person I am. I would never have stood still and done nothing if a parent or an athlete told me that something was inappropriate.
And Mary Lee goes, Jerry, I don't know, I'm not a doctor. I don't know, but I can assure you, Larry is the finest doctor that I've been with him for. She was loyal to Larry and she defended him, and it just kind of faded away.
Cincinnati elite gymnastics coach Mary Lee Tracy was Amanda's coach for 6 years, and she says Jerry never said a word about Larry Nassar, and at the time, no athlete did.
If he was uncomfortable with that, do something with it.
Maybe I should have just pushed a little further. Maybe I should have pushed a little harder. Maybe we should have said, hey, send us a copy of that video.
Everybody's going to blame. Everybody's going to blame, and I'm not going to blame. I'm just going to say I'm sorry that I was ever a part of it, near it, knew the man. It's just a very bad situation, and I don't know that there's anyone in particular to blame except for Larry Nassar.
Amanda stayed quiet until now. Her mom and even her coach thought those treatments were working. Amanda says she pretended they worked, hoping she would never have to go back to Larry Nassar. Did you guys ever have the talk about what really happened in there, the two of you?
Tricia, yes, but then I stop her. And when she gets, I stopped her because I told her, I said, Amanda, I don't want to know. I believe you. Tricia, when he pleaded guilty to this, and all these girls came up and they told their stories, the stories they told gave me goosebumps, shivers down my, they're the same. They were the same stories, the same verbiage, the same, it was scary. I was like, whoa, my God. And then I read what made me puke. When I read that he had 37,000 photographies or photographs and videos, and in the verbiage, it didn't tell you how many videos, but I'll guarantee there's one there, and I'll guarantee it.
How do you even function knowing that that's out there?
Well, here's the good part about that, Tricia. I know it's not out there. It's been confiscated by the feds. Thank God in heaven. Because in the world we live today, I'm so glad that's just not even out there. How's that?
If you go to our website, you're going to hear the backstory of how Amanda got into training for the Olympics, how she wound up in Larry Nassar's exam room in the first place. And tomorrow night, more of the mental abuse Amanda says she endured by USA Gymnastics and the guilt her dad feels about talking her out of just walking away. There's a backstory to that as well.
Well, you know, it's real easy to coulda, woulda, shoulda.
Absolutely.
I think the coach said it best. She goes, I'm just going to apologize. I'm not going to blame. But I think for everybody involved, especially adults, you don't judge yourself from where you are today. You got to judge yourself from where you are back then. And back then, I'm sure they were trying to do the very best they could to protect their daughter.
Hey, this is a bad guy. This is a bad guy who did a lot of bad things to a lot of girls. We know that he was found guilty.
Right.
He is behind bars for a long time.
Correct.
And unfortunately, Amanda's in the middle of it, and so are everybody that loves her.
And the other thing too is, you know, women have been coming forward on a more regular basis now. Because of those women, the gymnasts were able to come forward.
Because they're so brave.
Correct.
Absolutely. Yeah, brave girls.
Nice story. Not a nice story, but a nice way of telling their story.
Agree. We have gotten overwhelming response to Amanda's story that we've been showing you the last couple of nights. Women have reached out to Amanda and us saying because of her speaking up, they too have found their voice. Amanda Jeter is now 23. When she was 13 and on Team USA Gymnastics and an Olympic hopeful, that's when she says she was sexually assaulted by Team Dr. Larry Nassar, the first of multiple times. Tonight, why she stayed with it and the place that made her feel like it was all worth it. This is more of Amanda's story.
I would think about it almost daily from the day it happened. I couldn't get away from it. It was very lonely, very hard for me to deal with, very hard to fake on the outside that I was happy and smiling because I was a very happy-go-lucky kid. And when that happened to me, it kind of changed my personality a bit, and I had to fake it a lot of times because I just couldn't tell anyone what happened to me.
Every time she had to go to this ranch, oh my goodness, she turned, it was not responsive. Those are one of the dots I connected. Oh my God. Oh my Lord, if you only knew how many dots this is connected.
When all the dots were connected, the picture wasn't so pretty. Amanda Jeter, his daughter, says she was being sexually assaulted by the USA Gymnastics team doctor over and over again.
No one knew because I thought I was going to look bad. I thought I was going to never be invited back again if I spoke out. And they wouldn't believe me.
For over, gosh, probably 25 years, I had been sending athletes to him, and some of the parents even drove their athletes up to Michigan, were with them the whole time, and we were all duped.
More than 150 victims, including Olympians, spoke out against Larry Nassar, all girls reporting sexual abuse. One father even asking for a moment alone with Nassar, couldn't take it any longer, and he went after him. While Amanda was training at the Olympic facility in Texas, her dad had a heart attack, and Amanda says she wasn't allowed to go home and see him.
And I remember being on that 4-inch beam with tears streaming down my face, barely seeing the beam because I was so upset, flipping on a 4-inch beam, I couldn't even see it.
And that was the last straw. She says her secrets, the physical and mental abuse within USA Gymnastics, and now this, it was all too much. She told her dad she wanted to quit.
So then I had to pull the card on her. And I said, you want your dad to get better? Don't quit. We had, let's say it was a 10-mile journey, and I was there every inch of this 10-mile journey. And we only had half a mile to go.
Yeah.
How do you quit that?
What do you think should happen to that guy?
Well, he's already in
I
prison
know, but
forever.
what do you think? But what do you think?
What do I think?
Is that enough?
Rotten hell. Rotten hell. He's caused my daughter some pain, made her life miserable. If you only knew how many meetings I had because of Amanda's attitude. Well, you know, when you have the Larry Nassar ingredient in your stew, it tastes pretty bad.
Larry Nassar is now behind bars, serving 175 years in prison for molesting girls under the guise of treatment. The Caroli Ranch in Texas, closed. Those who ran it, removed. as USA Gymnastics tries to clean up its act. All good news to those on the inside.
To know that myself and my athletes and all the top athletes in our country never have to go back there is a pretty wonderful feeling.
In 2011, an ankle injury ended Amanda's Olympic dreams, but that didn't come close to slowing her down. She got a full ride to Alabama. Her gymnastics team won rings. Her dad says her college career saved her life.
To leave the sport in a good way, Alabama provided that for her, and I'm so grateful for that.
Last thing, I want to play a little 2020, a little hindsight 2020.
Yeah.
Would you do anything differently looking back at your life?
Wow, that's a hard question. Probably not. I just learned so much. I'm not sure if I would do anything differently. Because I did go out of the country and compete for USA Gymnastics 4 times. And that was an experience of itself. So I have good times with elite gymnastics. Just people don't know what we all had to go through to get those gold medals, to go out of the country to compete for USA Gymnastics. And I just want to kind of bring light to it and say it wasn't all roses and gold medals and fame. It wasn't like that at all.
Well, they know it now. They know it now. Amanda also filed a lawsuit involving Larry Nassar and USA Gymnastics. And I did speak with her a couple times today. I'm constantly texting her saying, Are you okay? Are you okay? She says she feels good. She says that she feels like she's making a difference because there's been so much support in the community, and even girls have come out to her now. They've come out to me as well, saying that they've given her strength, which is a wonderful thing. And I also talked to a therapist today, and I said, what should you do in case you think something's going on, right?
Yeah.
And because there's a lot of people in the same boat.
Sure.
And this individual, this therapist says, watch for warning signs like kids being standoffish, maybe being more introverted, quiet, that kind of stuff. Try to talk to them. Try to keep the lines of communication open. And if you ever are a victim or think you're a victim, call police. Tell somebody. Just call police.
And as people discuss it more, that will be easier to do, to call police or tell someone. But I liked her answer. She said, I wouldn't change my life because your life is good and bad, and you don't want to change something that's bad because it might change something that's good about you.
It's good. She's a strong girl. We're going to put also all of those interviews on our website. I'm not sure if they're done yet because there's so much info there. Hey, there it might be right there right now. So you can go to our website if you'd like to see the full interviews, a little backstory, how they interacted, all that kind of stuff. It's good stuff, and I thank all of you from the bottom of my heart for giving me the opportunity to share your story.